So the dream that I had where I initially learned my purpose was very short, and it's the only dream I've ever had where there were no visuals. So I'm asleep and it's pitch black, and I hear a booming voice say, "Your purpose is to help others find their path." And then I woke up. And that was the entire dream. And it lasted, a couple seconds tops, and I've never forgotten it, and I never will. And then I had to try to figure out what to do with that, which is, of course, a whole other problem with purpose. But that was the initial moment in which my purpose became clear to me.
Here's what's coming up next on the Holo Movement Purpose Lab. Hi, my name is Zenka Caro. I'm founder of LightNet, and my passion and purpose is to make the impossible possible. I am here today with Tim Kelley, a person who has deeply and profoundly affected my own purpose. And he has done this for so many others. He's a globally recognized leader and consultant who developed a company called the True Purpose Institute that has discovered a very, very unique method for helping people find their true purpose. He has done this for major executives at Nabisco, Alibaba, Inc., PricewaterhouseCoopers, and he has now moved on to helping canceled leaders find a new path and also entire countries find their purpose and meaning. He has also taught over 1,000 other trainers, coaches, and consultants and therapists his unique method so that they can bring it out into the world to help people find meaning. He has written a book called True Purpose, 12 Strategies for Discovering the Difference You Were Meant to Make. I love hearing Tim laugh, and I love his leadership in this field. It is such an honor to welcome him today.
And I so didn't know what to do with it that I had to find that purpose again a couple of years later, another way, which is actually not uncommon. That when people learn their purpose, they so don't know what to do about it that they sort of put the genie back in the bottle and then it pops back up again later. The biggest problem I had once I really was clear on what my purpose was and what it meant, which happened later, um, really was fear, fear and resistance, and that is very common. If the purpose is very accurate, it will usually also be very intimidating. If you're really nervous about your purpose, frightened of it, don't want to tell anybody about it, it's almost certainly correct. um, and I just had like near panic at trying to figure out what to do about it because at the time I was a software developer. I was programming computers. And I was doing some coaching a little bit. Um, and it became clear to me that if I was going to live the purpose, by the way, the other purpose I received the second time I got my purpose, in addition to reclarifying that one, was a mission, which I consider to be another type of purpose, um, which was to transform business from a profit driven activity to a purpose driven activity. And that seemed wildly intimidating to me and ridiculous. Now, this is 20 years ago. No one was talking about purpose in business. I was one of the first to be talking about purpose in business. Um, but I was terrified of people's reactions. I was terrified of how business people would react. I was terrified of how evangelical Christians would react. I was terrified of all sorts of things. And that's very normal to have a lot of fear, first about knowing the purpose, and then once the purpose is known, fear about living it and about doing it. And so it took me, the book True Purpose took me probably 2 years longer than it needed to publish it because of my fear and how difficult it was for me to focus on doing the steps to get the book out there.
For more, watch the full episode, which will be aired on Monday. Or you can find this story on our podcast, Awaken Your Purpose. To find your passion and purpose, join us at holomovement.net/purpose.